All right, lastly is moral relativism. Moral relativism, and this is one of the terms that I started out with, moral relativism, the cosmological argument, the problem of evil. And so we're going to deal with one of those that we talked about, moral relativism. Right and wrong are to be decided by the individual in the moment. They're not concrete absolutes. They're negotiable. Get a good lawyer in there. Maybe you can change what is good and what is evil. No moral truths apply to everyone. And moral relativism is kind of a subset. So an atheist is often also will fall under this category, or a New Ager will fall under this category. So often guided by atheism or the New Age belief system as well. Here we have a picture of Justice, right? She's got a blindfold on because she's, just weighing the truth and good, because she doesn't need to look at the circumstances, right? Murder is always murder, right? But under this system, she may need to take a peek to be able to figure out what's going on here, right? Justice is no longer blind, so she's got to look down there.
Michael?
Yes.
This makes me think of our college kids today.
Yeah.
And they spend 4 years or more in an environment of all three of these. They come out indoctrinated by a worldview that guides them the rest of their lives apart from God's divine intervention in their lives.
Yeah. We have to know why we believe, and we can practice that to our children. And we've got the advantage on the world, but we need to make sure we take advantage of that advantage, right? We need to make sure that we plow deeply in their hearts and their minds. All right, so let's do some practice. And in each one of these, we're going to ask how one view would respond, and if you want to chime in how maybe another view would respond, that's fine. We're not going to spend the time to do all three or all four of the different views. But just so we can kind of get a sense, how would an atheist respond to the question, is there a purpose in life? Is there a purpose in life?
Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you may die.
Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. That's right. Is that the belief system of the Epicureans? You should listen to the Paul Harvey on Epicurus. He was actually not. He was of the opposite. That was a lie told about him, but that's a rabbit trail we won't chase. All right. So, and a Christian, of course, would say there is a purpose in life. We were created to bring glory to God. How would a Christian respond to this? The receipt says they didn't charge us for our French fries and our drink. I was saying, I know one Christian, we can be 5 miles away. Lydia can need to take a bath or whatever, and we're turning back. Because that's my wife. She is strongly convicted about this. And I have to say, I've probably been cheated sometimes. They've probably cheated me, you know what I'm saying? So it all works out in the end. What's that? Yeah, it's just relativism, right? So maybe y'all can pray for me in this area. But
God's sovereign.
That's right. He's sovereign. But a Christian should rightly say, we owe this person, let's go pay him back. How would an atheist respond to, is anything wrong with premarital sex? What is marriage? Aren't we all just animals anyways, right? That's how they would likely respond.
Both consenting adults.
Yeah, both consenting adults. What adults do doesn't matter. How would a New Ager respond to this? What happens when we die? What happens when we die? Yeah. So maybe you should have good karma when you don't pay, you see that you didn't pay for your fries and drinks. If you want good karma, you go back. No, sorry.
That's like all those new commercials. You heard those?
No, what are they?
Council about good karma.
Oh, yeah.
Why you should volunteer and stuff. To have
Wow.
good karma. It's kind of a joke, but still.
Yeah, it has truth to it.
Yeah.
Our government.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm.
How would a moral relativist respond to, if you just tell them we weren't at the party, we won't get in trouble? Yeah, expediency. what's good for the moment, not what is actually true. So understanding how opposing views think and see the world will greatly assist you in discussing relevant issues with others in defending your faith.
I was thinking how hypocritical we are in America. The politicians,
Oh,
if you just tell them this and get out of the jam, but then when we find them and catch them in a lie, we condemn them.
Right. Yeah,
Rightly so, but I'm saying it's a hypocritical position from the majority of people who live from moral relatives.
Right, yeah. If you can't hear that, he's saying that we kind of live like that on a daily basis, and we even kind of promote it. We act and our children see it and they learn, which is I got a good video on that. But and then we see one of our officials, and rightly so, when they've lied, they get put in the frying pan, right? But we hold them to a higher standard than what we're willing to hold ourselves. And that really goes back to judge not lest you be judged by your own standard. It's not saying don't judge, but you want to hold yourself to the same standard you're holding your politicians to, right? All right, so we've covered biases, and worldviews, covered some definitions. We're going to put some truth arguments into. We're going to get into some faulty arguments. So when we're listening to someone with a bias or worldview, and they make a faulty argument, we're going to cover 7 different ways that they are often flawed. And we're probably going to end somewhere in here. So we may get 2 or 3 or 4 of these down, and then pause and come back and pick these up next week. But faulty and illogical arguments, why is this important? Well, we already said we want to be able to find weak points in an argument. In our arguments, we don't want to be proclaiming weak arguments, and in the arguments of the other side. And who's guilty? We can all be guilty of using faulty argumentation, faulty logic. So some examples. Our first faulty argument is peer pressure. If you're ever reading in a highbrow literature, they may call this ad populum, using the 50-cent word for a 5-cent idea. But peer pressure or ad populum. And this is arguing that one should agree with the conclusion in order to be accepted, included, or respected. Generally, you think of school kids and peer pressure, but we're all subject to peer pressure in our daily lives. An example of a flawed argument from peer pressure is all educated people know that there is no God. All educated people know there is no God, right? So what's this really saying? Does it deal with any of the evidence for or against the existence of God? No, it's just saying if you want to be educated, you're going to fit this mold, which is not true. Not a true mold either. So peer pressure. Makes sense? Any questions on peer pressure?
it's called the bandwagon.
The bandwagon. Jump on that bandwagon. All right, our next type of faulty argument is called the straw man. And some people will call this a caricature. And just imagine you were in a boxing match with Evander Holyfield or whatever boxer you want to put in there. Would you rather have him or a straw man version of him that you were fighting, right? The straw man. And that's what this does. This type of faulty argument distorts an opposing position to make it easier to destroy. So it characterizes that what the position is really saying, and therefore makes it easy to destroy.
Politicians are masterful at that.
Yes. An example, this is one from our side that you typically hear. Evolution isn't true because there are no apes turning into humans at the zoo today. There are no apes turning into humans that I'm aware of at the zoo today. But this does really misrepresent the position of evolution. It makes it easier for us to defeat evolution. Evolution says small changes happen over a long period of time. Over a long, long period of time, you look at the start and you look at the end, they're no longer the same. Now, we can argue that one all day long, right? But let's not be guilty of characterizing what an argument actually says. Okay. Good with this one? Because these might get a little overload, and I don't want to do that.